Computer. Lights. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Thursday. I'm a little behind the gun here. I've been doing some diagnostics on the machine. Notice I didn't say the C word. So we can figure out some stuff here and see whether things are kind of going good or what's happening here. So I've got like I just watched my internet, Wi-Fi just fall completely off the planet there to 1.5 megabits transmission. I've been meaning to monitor this for a long time. I'm intrigued that I'm now broadcasting, and literally we've dropped down to almost nothing as far as upload goes. Curious. I'm curious because it seems like every morning we have some kind of weird failure. Oh, I see. We're not receiving anything. That's what went thump. There was no data receiving. We're still at the same transmission level. Okay, just hope if you can read the thing. We're going to keep working on deck plan. Okay. Let's get to work. We have to come up with a couple of other things, like what kind of tables do we have? I think we want hexagonal tables. I like hexagonal tables. I think hexagonals are what the future will be like. In the future, everybody will have hexagonal tables. I think it makes them look cool. First things first, though, we have to go down here to the marine bunker. So we'll be down here, and while we're at it, let's go on ahead and do this guy. And since this is a prison bed, we'll remove the logo from it. I'm actually kind of tempted to make it white. I feel like the majority of people, if you were to take 1/10 of the population, literally, or even less, as the case may be, the majority of people would be Asian descent. Because it's where the majority of the humans on this planet live. So, Though I think that we would definitely have people other than Asians. I think Asians would definitely take up the majority of the people. So, to that end, I feel like some of the traditions of Asian culture would be prominent, which makes also some sense because it tends to be something that I'm interested in is Asian studies and Asian culture. So we're just going to make the white bed. Now actually duplicate this work and then move him back over to the furniture section so that we can use them again for other things. I feel like this is the prison bed. Prison bed. All right, and then we will duplicate this one again. And we'll make a medical bed. There we go. We need music. There we go. Bring up the music. All right. We're making a medical bed over here. And you know what? I feel kind of like I want to take the bed and narrow it. As if the medical beds are a different shape. In the original series of Star Trek, medical beds were a different shape. I think that'd be interesting, if nothing else. Right, and then we'll put in there we go. There. Medical bed. Good morning, Brent. How are you this morning? Making medical beds. There, medical bed. I was saying that I feel like the majority of the people who would have escaped or fled Earth would have been Asian in a lot of ways. So I am using the Asian color scheme of white being sort of not necessarily death, but not good. And black being good. See, we can extend surgery out now because I've made that entire front end not accessible. There's what, 65 people on board this ship? 67 people on board this ship? And we've got 6 beds. Just saying. To be fair, that makes some sense. Really, honestly, you don't want people to be you don't want to have um, if you have more than working hard. I understand that. I get that, my friend. I get that. So I'm thinking that we'll have 2 bays in here, surgery bays. It's true, but if you've got enough people on a car that you're filling up a cargo bay with people, ooh, doggy, that is not a good day. All right. Go back over here to the furniture section and grab these little computery nightstand standy thingies, widgets. Oh, yeah. Well, we only have double bunks. We're not hot racking that much. So, and these are medical. I think I'll put this just in here in surgery. This is like all the you need this for surgery crap. Oh, I'm sure. That's what Brent was saying was that we could, just convert a cargo bay and put a whole bunch of cots in the cargo bay if we really needed to. But my primary thought was, golly, if we're at the point where we need to stack people in the cargo bay, things aren't good in the ship. There we go. What you missed yesterday, though, Donald, is we went on ahead and we created like the enlisted rooms down here, the officers' quarters there, the VIP quarters. We discovered that, oh, that's true. It could be a rescue op. We discovered that the port side VIP quarters are smaller than the starboard side VIP quarters. So we've already come to the conclusion that you can tell what your position is with the captain depending on which quarters she puts you in. Because she could put you in the VIP quarters that are tiny. Except that, of course, nobody can really tell the difference. I think it's a matter of about 40 centimeters. But still, it's the thought that counts. And we're having way too much fun with this. A rescue up is a good point. So I do have this after bay right here, which is big enough to do all kinds of stuff like that if we need to. That's on the bottom deck. That's probably true. I mean, just support people. The only problem I can foresee is that we humans aren't built well for things like zero-G operations or something like that. I'm going to just flatten these down so they're all on the furniture level. I don't want to lose this group of weird little... The crew would right, the crew would know. I think the funniest idea would be that there'd be this like thought process of having sort of, oh, she put you in the port VIP quarters. Well, come this way. And be like, wait a minute. Okay. Moving back in here. And go down here and start working with the Marines. seems everybody has a desk. Kinder to the Marines than I'm kind to the Marines. I just want you to know this, how kind I am to my Marines. I'm saying that because I realized I just gave all the Marines a desk. So many Marine jokes, so little time. Okay. They don't get a computer though. I'm just saying, they're not that cool. They do get a desk though. Right? All I'm going to do is just make you guys have to eat. Well, that's where they have to keep their crayons, Brent. That's where they keep the crayons. Keep organized. We keep our crayons together. All right. We'll flip this around. Why is everything to port smaller than starboard? All right. I think about that a lot. Like, you got like these space marines, and they've got to, we deploy them out in armor, and then we we have to kind of, do they sleep in that armor? I guess they do, but is it really that big of a deal? I guess not, unless you're on landfall. If you're on landfall, then it's probably miserable. But you're just floating in space. And it makes me wonder how many times you've got Marines on sentry duty, which the entire thing is to just float there with a gun and go to sleep and wait until something beeps. A proximity alarm. You know, beep, 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 proximity alarm. So it's a modified version of the service uniform. Same kind of thing, but it'll be slightly different because the Marines do look different. I'll have to draft that up though because we do have Marines on board and they should look different. Because the color codes on the ship are the Navy uniforms are officers of the line and officers not of the line. So that's really, and then scientists. And so that's kind of your three color codes. You've got line officers, non-line officers, and scientists. This is sort of our delineation. So Marines could just be in a very gray type uniform. But it would be still the same, like, line divisions because that's part of your spacesuit for like sealing up your suit in case you have emergency decompression. And you're probably right that there would be some kind of maybe modified power source for the Marines. I think that they would have a more robust skin suit. Yeah, maybe some kind of active camouflage. You're probably right. It also might have pockets, right? Whereby the Navy, yes, it would be armored to some degree. It would have pockets. It would be a different kind of suit. It'd be very different. Now that I think about it, it's very different. Initially, I was like, it'll be exactly the same. And as time goes on, I'm like, no, I think it's different. This poor guy is a lieutenant. A lot of honking going on out there. I think even their daily set, though, it's Marines. I think their daily set would be much more military in general. So, I mean, I still think that they would probably have pockets and um, various kinds of Give him a desk to work at so he can yell at other Marines about what they didn't do right because he's going to be the head dude. Um, it it does. Hi, Dustin. I I actually like legit cannot visualize my ship unless I do deck plans. So we're just gonna do deck plans and just accept it, and that's all good. It also allows me to comprehend what kind of world these guys live in. Maybe go the other direction. Like this. That way, you don't have to see if this guy has like no organizational skills. Right? I feel like that's a thing. I feel like there. Now we can move this guy. So it also will give a lot of consistency when I start building the set for this, because the way I do comics is to do 3D rendered backgrounds that are set so that you can't tell that they're 3D. They don't look 3D. They're just, you know, nicely rendered or whatever. So that's kind of the way I'm doing this whole battle plan. And um, so the idea here is that when I actually need this office, like let's say at some point in time, we go down and talk to the Marine lieutenant for whatever reason, I now can build the set directly off this office and just raise the walls and, you know, put stuff into the, yeah, right. But it helps me then kind of visualize the space as well. And it also makes sure that we've got reasonable accommodations. Um, really should go in here and like take the evil bathrooms apart. So I certainly can, and that's certainly well within the battle plan here. The generic waste room is kind of funny now, since it's just a waste removal room. There we go. But yeah, I mean, this helps visualize what's going on in the ship. It also is a lot of fun. I mean, you know, my I have been getting a couple of, why are you going through all this trouble? Well, each one of these, the grid, here's the grid. Each grid is 2 meters or thereabouts. So the grid is at 2 meters. That was actually kind of a trick that was funny. So all of these items that you're seeing right over here, um, Right, works for 28 millimeter minis. All of these items I actually rendered in 3D using a top-down orthographic view. So these are actual items that are available now to me that I have modeled. I modeled them in Blender and then wrapped them and then put them into 3D or DAZ 3D so that I can now put them into a set, which allows me, and I will show you what it can do. Because we've been working on this. There we go. Just kind of going along here. I'm looking for that picture that we just did of the interior. Allows me to do this. Right? Yes, I could. But this is the same bed that we just see, these overhead bins, this chair, and the desk, and the nightstand are all done then as 3D objects. And then I've just rendered them flat. I have to go in here and kind of do some touch up on it a little bit. And we get weird leaks, but this allows me to do the quarters in 3D, and I can do any position I want. Now I'm extending out where all of this was. So now all I have to do whenever I build this, like let's say this marine bunker, all I have to do is then double up this bed to make a bunk bed, and then put the chair in the right place, put the desk in the right place, and stuff like that. Yeah, leaks are bad in space. And all of these items are already, all I need to do is just duplicate them and place them in the correct location, and I have a new set. And then I just save that file, and I might have to do different walls, but that's not a big deal. In fact, probably what I will do is decide that C deck is a different style so that you can feel different no matter what deck you're on the ship. So it takes no time at all for me to reconfigure an office. So I would happily I mean, the Blender, we've done Blender a couple of times on the show here, and probably what I should do is build something straight through from start to finish and just show you how I do it. Because I always start with a square, like everybody has the cube in the center of the... At some point, we have to do these tables over here. So yeah, here's the Marine Lieutenant's quarters. We've got the Marines. We've got the brig, which is right in front of the Marine quarters, so that the Marines can shoot them if they're stupid. This is important. What I do need to do is add the waste receptacle to their quarters. We'll do this. We'll happily do so, my friend. We've got to add an open bathroom because that's always important. How do you know you're in jail if you've got a bathroom right next to your... There's nothing stopping you from the bathroom. Nothing stopping you from flushing the pillow on your bed down the toilet by accident. It's a rough place. Okay, now what we need is a couple of chairs down here. It will be good. Grab a few chairs. Like, these Marines are unlike the Navy guys upstairs. These Marines are all nice and neat. Yesterday, Donald, we were up in the enlisted area and the officers' quarters, and we were kind of having fun making the chairs all like disorganized, and like these guys are all neat and stuff like that. The toilets. Oh, I see what you're saying. So make this the common area. Yeah, the problem is the beds won't fit because we've got to narrow in on this part, the front part of the ship for the forward section. So I actually was pretty proud of how I did this one. Um, when we originally did this, I had, I'll turn off the deck plans here so you can see these. I have the model of the ship, and then I took a purple plane that was semi-transparent, and I moved it to 2 meters up and 2 meters down, actually 2.5 meters up and down throughout the ship, so that I think it's actually 3 meters, so that it gave me a very clean view of exactly how big each deck is and like where they end and stuff like that. So that, like here's the underside, stuff like that. So this became um, this became sort of the initial design, which was this design, when I was making it using the Star Trek FASA Star Trek maps, as you may recognize. I just used all of the little widgets from the FASA Star Trek thing, um, and then added those in to make sure I had all the pieces designed correctly. And now I'm on the second pass on this because I wanted to make sure it had all of my artwork instead of the artwork that comes from FASA. So we'll make sure that all of this is merged together. Wonder, you know what? Let's go over here and real quickly, let's see if we can't put them all on a common wall. Because you're right, that would be far, far, far more convenient. So we've got the ability to put this guy here, and then we'll put this guy here, making an even funnier design. And then let's go on ahead and try this. Let's move, because there's plausibly a way that I can move these beds. Yeah, see, it's just going to be outside. However, I may not need to narrow in this quickly. I could narrow in like this and put fire equipment over here. No more star maps for the remainder of the month. Are you done with maps? We have been, if you're wondering what he's referring to, Dustin, we've been world building for quite some time now. And I actually have some pages already in, but I think he's hoping that we will get more pages. And so I think that's what we're really hoping we will get instead of being stuck with star maps. That said, I love my star maps. I mean, to be fair. However, I do believe that that's the general argument for everybody at this point in time is like, please do not do that anymore. Okay, so I'm going to take this and this guy. We're going to pull him out a little. And then we can take and continue this just forward there. And this can be, why is it different? Ah, God, I swear. Okay. Too much maths. The math, though, was getting wild. However, did you guys see the most recent star map? I mean, like how it's sort of evolving? I will show Destin this because Destin's here. We won't do anything with them, but I did get to the point, well, because it's actually in the map directory. And we go into Bellatrix Rising. We go to maps. Because we rendered out a couple of the maps here. This is where I'm working at this point. That's not helping me any. That's way too small. That's the preview for being able to find stuff. That's why it doesn't look good. Well, you guys may have lucked out. I may not have rendered it. That's a bummer. It's a bummer. It's okay. Okay, well, fine. Get back to work. That's cool. I like the idea also of putting the brig like right here and putting it right by the showers, because then you can just throw them in the showers if they're smelly. They need to sober up. Toss them in the shower and turn the shower on. This shouldn't have access on this side. This should have access on the other side. I don't know why it's got access on this side. Because this is an armory. That's the forward armory, because that's an exit door. These three are armories. I'm okay with that. In fact, I would be really entertained. I was just talking about this online a little bit. I've been thinking about the idea of building a role-playing game in the Bellatrix Rising universe. Like, I didn't necessarily think about Savage Worlds, but I didn't not think about Savage Worlds. But I mean, I've been doing so much world building over the last year and a half. It's been my COVID project. And so while we've been kind of squished in here, and this isn't the last time I'll be doing deck plans, by the way. You are more than welcome to use the Corvette, as long as I don't get bitten for it later on. I could see that being an issue. Anyway, we just got the color change of the lights, so I'm going to stand up and stretch, and everybody else should too. Oh my goodness, especially since after NDK, standing up and stretching seems like a good thing. Oh, my chiropractor is really into the idea of not cracking all of my bones again, so she wants me to do all of these exercises. There we go. Whew. Okay, shake everything out. That's important. All right. Back to work. The thing I think is great is that, we've got all of this. The only problem I could see is that your poor guys would be doing all of the goofy stuff that let's see here. We'll just duplicate that because these are also armories. And that's because this is the landing door, the forward landing door. So once the Corvette is on the ground, it can lower that landing door and then open these doors, and the Marines can come straight out right underneath the landing gear. So these armories are actually very useful because that's where they can get power armor, and and then from the after section, this is the mech bay, cargo bay. Depending on its deployment unit. And this entire bay can open up and allow them to open out and deploy mecha. Not the least of which is they also carry one of the variable mechs right here. And that's this docking section right here, because the variable mech sits right in this bay this way. So it's put right there. Why, thank you. Thank you very much, actually. Here, let me show you. I will show you the kitty wake as she has actually been built. So there's the kitty wake from the underside. It's kind of hard to see her though. Let's add a layer underneath there so we can get some. There we go. So this is that exit door I was just talking about, where the Marines can come out. I haven't built the landing gear in Blender yet, but the door opens this way to let the forward landing gear down, and then the ramp comes down like this, so that the Marines can deploy from behind the forward shell of the landing strut, and that way they can come out and shoot from around it. They've got instant cover. So let's see what else we've got. Do I have any top-down pictures of her? Because I should. Yeah. There we go. So it's got a pilot house up front, which is for navigating in warp, if you will. And then the bridge is actually right here, and it's armored, so it's not easy to get to. But the pilot house is for flying in the atmosphere and docking in space stations and stuff like that. You send your pilot up front, and in this case, she has a control set up front to control the ship, and she's got just big windows that she can look out either side and see everything. So there you go. This is my kittiwake. Somewhere along the line, I'm going to print these guys because somebody, and I won't name any names, Brent, keeps telling me I need to print them because it's a 3D model. It really does physically exist. So I can build her anytime and just print her. So, but I do kind of want to, if I do the model, I kind of want to go in and model in things because it's a rough model. Like, all these panel pieces and stuff like that could be cut out of the model a little bit so that, like, the missile panels on either side, we got a missile panel here and a missile panel there. Those doors just open and the missiles deploy up and then fire off once they're clear. They're just ejected from the wings and just tack, and they have a loader, just, loads up and then just shoots it out the top, and then the next one just shoots it out. Doesn't even need much, but they go out at an angle, obviously, otherwise they'll just smack right into those tails. So anyway, so there we go, kittiwake. So this is where we're designing at this point in time is the kittiwake. So we're actually designing sort of the general ship. We're just going to go in here. I would love to see this ship in a game, though. That'd be so cool. Alright. The only thing that bothers me is that the waste room words are upside down. We put chairs over there. Okay. Actually, we're getting confusing enough now. I'm just going to turn everything off and merge it all together because we've got so many little words and things like that now that. There we go. All right. So we've managed to put medical together. We put the marine greens together. We still have quite a few areas left. The bridge is going to be a pain. Haven't gotten to the bridge yet. And then up here we have officers, offices. Hey, that just doesn't sound good, does it? CMO's office and the entrance into medical. We've got a waste room up here. Naturally, I have made that bulkhead waste room to be different. Looks like we're about 68, I think, on this ship, because we've got, these are bunks. So in the enlisted area, we've got 8, 16, 32. So there's 32 enlisted, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. So maybe not even that, 39. And then 3, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. So 48. 48 looks like what we got. And then I can carry VIPs if I need to, but not a lot. I thought it was 60, but I guess it's actually just 48, which is the right size for a comic book where I really want to be so controlling. I know all 48. If 48 is a fun number. Trying to get this to fit in there. A little bit harder than it looks. There we go. I think I knew what you meant. Undo. We'll go in here and put that there because they need a waste room on this floor, on this deck, if you will. Right. Well, and enough people that you can run the ship in, because I feel like you're dealing with or I guess the line. Seven of them that are line officers, and then the rest of them are enlisted or mixed enlisted junior officer. But and the idea being that we've got 32 would probably be just And they've got a couple of people that are cross-trained and stuff like this. You'd have you your PCs to be alpha shift. So there's a shift and then there's a gamma shift. There's delta shift. We don't talk to delta shift. Okay. I have to say I'm enjoying lower decks way too much. Just saying. So you're like, I will totally print that shit. I want to print it too. I mean, mind having a little kitty wake sitting up here. That'd be cool. I'd look at it all the time. Like, yeah, I'm supposed to do a drawing. You know, don't worry. I'll get the kitty wake drawn. Or molded. I mean, because right now we could print it as it is, but it'd be really flat. We'd have to go and do a lot of that. I just want to do some of the panel lines because I think panel lining would be cool. Okay, so we're up here on land. Let's get the furniture back in here. Let's just bring it over to here. Work on this floor. Right. I don't know what you guys are talking about. You're probably talking about something that has nothing to do with me, which is good. And that's the way it ought to be. I'm going to put, I have to truncate it a little bit. Usually when I truncate them, I truncate them on the other side. So let's do that. I'm going to go in here a little. Let's see what the heck we're talking about. Yeah, we're just going to cut that out. Oh, yeah. Play test the entire world. I think that'd be great. I have star maps, which Brent wants to kill me for. But I'm very proud of the star maps. I think that'd be awesome. It'd be weird, like having to do all of the various types of characters and stuff like that. We have to think about all of their traits and, like, you know, there are 7 alien creatures in here, and they're all very alien. So it is definitely, it would be creative and interesting as a challenge. Fine. That's what we wanted. Certainly, we have far more than enough material, though. It doesn't look real. But see, now I've got to see. No, probably not. I actually should show you what my maps look like, because it is kind of wild. I'll load DAS real quick. And while I'm doing so, I like to when it comes to chairs, tilt them a little, because then it looks more like real people would actually do something. My star maps tend to look like this. So you can kind of see where all of the stars are, and then relative to the wall, because these are the stars of the unity, and these are the stars of the wall exclusion zone out here. When it renders these stars as glowing objects, so it looks kind of cool. I'm just having a hard time dealing with some of the maps not rendering properly. But this allows us to see a 3D representation. So you can move from one star to another and then know that this star is a longer distance right here. Then, because from the top down view, of course, they don't. Well, that's not the top down view. When you look at this, the problem with some of those star charts is that from the top view, these two stars will look right next to each other, right? And then the orthographic view, you can see that they are not anywhere near each other. There's quite a bit of an uphill run. So I'm trying to kind of get and these are real stars. That's what Brent is talking about how he wants to kill me for these things, because I had to calculate all of these stupid stars. But each one of these stars that's on here is a real, like, honest to goodness star. It's all the stars that are around the star Bellatrix, which is the left shoulder of Orion. So all of those are accurate to the latest Gaia probe information. And I think you can do that with, you were just saying you can do that with the traveler maps too. That's not what I wanted. Where's the chairs? There's the chair. We're going to have 40,000 chairs. Because otherwise, how do you come in here and get chewed out for doing something stupid? Right? Thank you. Yeah, Z-axis is like tough. It's like the Z-axis stuff is it's hard to depict. It's really difficult to sort of show where everything is. Because like I was doing those other maps, and like I have to find the right spot where you don't end up with two stars right next to each other like this, so you can't tell where they are. And so it's rough. There we go. Those are all offices. Right in front of the bridge. The captain gets her office here. There's a bathroom on the bridge. There's a bathroom on the bridge. I'm going to make sure I've got her quarters figured out because, of course, we're going to spend some quality time here. That sounded worse than I meant it to be, but I think you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Because she'll be in her quarters reading books or whatever happens and stuff. Kind of wondered if I was going to be able to fit stuff. I guess I'm not. It'll be easier for me to just put it against this wall. There we go. See you after Gen Con. I will be here. You know how to get a hold of me. Good luck. And this actually is going to be underneath. So I want to put it just here so you can kind of see that, yeah, it's no, really. She has it here. Whatever. All of this is underneath. She's going to have one of these roll desks above. There we go. She's the captain, so she gets all kinds of stuff. She gets all the furniture pieces in her office. And George was here a minute ago, but then he opted to leave. Honestly, I don't think her quarters are much different on the Kittiwake than they are on the Polaris. So that's also interesting. Okay, so we've added a little bit of extra sort of roominess into Captain's quarters. And then Captain has an office. So we will put in Captain's office as well. Do. She has her little office thing where she can have a desk. Clearly, the desks on the Polaris are bigger than they need to be on standard Navy vessels. I'm just noticing that every desk we have done so far has been too big by a lot. Doesn't fit well in my design here. But that's okay. And then she will get a Replimat. Mm-mm. Replimat that can live actually in her office. We also will spend an awful lot of time in her office. So we will continue to place things in here. Wholly excessive spacecraft stuff. Part of the reason, by the way, that we're doing deck plans is, yes, it's very important that we make it so that I can do the things, but the truth is I need to work on the commissions for Silver Pentacle at some point here. And I am not ready to do that yet. So we might as well do this. At least for this week until I can get back on my normal schedule. She gets a bath in her bathroom because she's the captain. Like an actual real bath. technical pin work. There we go. And now we're just putting in her personal toilet. In the vacuum section for, the captain isn't actually a human being. The captain is, something else. Perhaps the captain is a Volmar. Perhaps the captain is Nate. Just get this sink right over here. This offset sink. We'll just delete it. No, let's not do that. There. Now she has a sink in her little bathroom. Her much tighter quarters than they are on the Polaris, which I guess makes some sense. There we go. Okay. We made it up to the second or B deck, which is good. Yeah. It's starting to come together and actually look like a spaceship. But we also get a good idea of how big a scale we're dealing with this ship. I keep feeling like there should be an engine room, but there really isn't, because the engines are out on nacelles. And though there are utility hallways inside the wing, they are Jeffries tubes. Maybe I should draw those Jeffries tubes in, because they'd be coming off of C deck way back here in the after section, heading like this way out to the wings. And they'd have to be here because it's the thickest part of the wing. It's not involved in a missile launch system. In fact, come to think of it, I think I may have to cut into these port and starboard sections, because I think that we've got a different problem with the kittiwake at the moment. So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at the Corvette. Because the more I think about it, the more I'm concerned. This is interesting. You know, a lot of like, here we go. The question is, will she render straight? Is she even mapped? Does anybody know? She doesn't look mapped. Okay. So, in my content library, that's where we have landing strips. That's nice. These are. Okay. Should be able to get a Seabird class. Let's just bring the kittiwake in. There we go. Because I'm worried about the missile launch tubes. But now that I see this, I'm thinking we may be actually fine. Yeah, I think because we actually, now that I look at it though, here's where those tubes need to grow. On this forward section, it's thick right here, but it's not in the loading section. So this is where the missiles are loaded. I'll give you an STL. Take this, and we will open. And let's just take a look at her. Make sure we've got enough space. This will also be good because we need to kind of get an idea of the windows for the pilot house on the front to make sure that everything fits. All right, so we should be able to snap that directly in place or not. And we will sit there and go, oh, Mark II of the ship or something ridiculous. So if we go here, take off those, do this, we should be able to just place okay. So it looks like the missile launch tubes are way out here, which is good. But it does look like if we were to do Jeffrey's tubes, they could come straight off of this utility room right here. Right. It would be very, very small, though. This would not be the fun place to be. Just saying. Coming right off of here as well. There. And this entire section. It's a missile tube section. These are missile loaders. And then the missiles. This is the ejection mechanisms, and the missiles are here. And I feel like there's an engine room on either side that maybe we should actually legitimately have. So I think I will go on ahead and consider that D deck is probably okay. And then I can move D deck over to here. like so. It needs to be lined up still, so that because there should be an engine room out here. There we go. There we go. Did I really just do that? I did. All right. Bring through here for an access hatch. And I think this is probably the most dangerous access hatch ever. Right here. There we go. There we go. So we'll put a very small engine room here. That should give us at least the ability to open a door, crawl through the access line, and get into engineering at least access the internal workings of this engine if we need to. I'll put a small section right here. The after monitoring room. You're not wrong. That's totally what's going to happen to Marine's like, I'm trying to crawl right now. Space is like all weird, and they're crawling along the hall. And the captain's like, what are those idiots doing? All right, so technically part of the design is this engine room, which actually isn't small. It's not like it's a tiny engine room. I mean, you could technically put a bed in here, a couple of beds in there. So I wouldn't want to, but you could technically do it. Also, I feel like there probably is an outside hatch right there. Because if you look at the underside of the ship, those nacelles drop down, right? So I feel like if you have, I feel like that could be an exit door right there, like an emergency exit. I think that she probably won't, it probably won't be a big deal for her. Thinking about it, I don't think she's going to care unless they get hurt. If they get hurt, then she cares. And she'll crack down on the lieutenant. That's what I think will happen. Yeah, right. They'll come out that little door on the engine. They'll be like climbing through the Jeffries tubes to get into a little engineering room. And they'll climb out the door on the engine. You'll be like, okay, why are you idiots out here? Yep. I can totally see that because there'll be an engine door on either side. I feel like we would definitely have something on the port and starboard door. I also need to figure out how to move this window back over here. Because like I said, this window now opens into a cargo bay. It's irritating. Okay. So you can actually get into the missile bay. Like it's internally accessible. Which is this area right here. Which that's actually reasonable. I mean, that actually makes some sense. So I already have like a number of little vignettes that I think I'm going to draw up. 5-10 page comics, nothing big, where they just give feel to the universe. What's going on? What aspect of the universe? And I think that's a perfect one, is to have Marines doing weird crap like that, where they're in mid-flight, and I mean, it'd be even funnier if like you had Mayrel in the pilot house and she comes in, powers up the pilot seat, sits in the pilot seat to have some Marine crawling along and then knocking on the forward window, and she's like, what are you guys doing out there? Why are you out there? Because I mean, totally that would happen. You know that would happen. Okay, so I feel like These are engine rooms, and there'll be one over here. I'm just gonna have to move everything over, just accepting the fact that things are moving. Um, they're gonna walk the plank. This has to be though an emergency access door. It can't. I mean, it'll have to be sealed and locked. Otherwise, people are gonna be trying to get on board the ship there. You don't want them on board the ship there. So yeah, yeah. These windows, these windows are totally environmental. They don't need to be environmental. They need to be back here. That said, one of the cool things we can do is open this hatch and then, drag power lines or whatever and plug them straight into engine maintenance ports and stuff like that. So I'm sure when she's sitting on the deck, that's exactly what's going to happen. Is those access doors will be opened and there will be lines running out and things going in because that's direct line to the engines that can do. You're like, I've already figured this out. I'm naming one of my Marines after you. You know that, right? Because like these are the things that you keep thinking up, and I'm like, yeah, that's definitely a thing. Okay. Well, I think we are good. I'll let this guy sit for a second and think about this because the next thing we got to do is we got to finish out all the internals while they're still stacked on top of one another before we start moving things around. No, I love these ideas. What I think is particularly funny is the idea and the concept that the Marines would do these things to make themselves still be frosty. You know what I mean? Like keep them really frosty, make sure that they're doing the right thing and stuff like that. Like there needs to be an access line along this dish too. Otherwise, you can't get to those forward maser ports. And then we haven't even started with the sensor dome up front. But I think there would be the sensor dome and then an auxiliary Jeffries tube to this maser port and this maser port and these sensor arrays in the back because those are field arrays and we'll need to know them. We'll need to be able to get into them and send an engineer out whenever they go bonk because they will. Because I agree with Matt Jeffries' concept. Matt Jeffries had a concept that you'd be able to access every part of the ship from you'd be able to access every part of the ship from inside, as opposed to having ships that you had to go outside to do, because even though we can do large repairs by returning it to the Polaris, clearly she's dispatched for a year at a time. So she's got to be able to be internally operable, much in the same way a submarine would be. And thinking in the logic of the submarines, on a carrier, we can put things on the deck and load it off. But on a submarine, you've got to be able to unbuckle it and then put it through a hatch because there's no way to. Right. Well, and that's it. That's it. Sergeant Cameron, you're you're going to be stuck doing mazer cleaning duty out there, cleaning the mazers on the forward or the left array. I want to see it shine. You could totally see stuff like that. That's totally a thing that's going to happen. And now that I have done this, looking here, here's one thing I'm noticing, and you can't see it because I've already turned off the outside or the internal monitor thing, but let's fix it now. Is I've noticed that here is the docking door. Right here. So we should probably accurately depict the docking door. I intend to always have Sergeant or whatever, maybe he's Private Cameron. He's always cleaning the mazers, man. He has to go clean the mazers. Again. What has he done to end up having to clean the damn mazers again? Now we can remove this because this isn't a docking door anymore. That is a non-real thing anymore. All right. Here's the port side docking doors. No, starboard side docking doors, I mean. Okie dokie. Docking doors fixed. Sent to clean. He was a corporal. That's what happened. He was a corporal, but now forward mazers. both sets. 3 ports on the front there. You got 6 of them to deal with. I'd make you clean the after mazers too, but they're doing mech maneuvers or something. It's always going to be something. Did I take that? Wait. Huh. I took away her sensor dome. There's no sensor dome anymore, which is fine. Just interesting. I did some modifications to this version of the Kittiwake, and she's markedly different. That's all. Just didn't realize that I had taken away her sensor dome. That makes these Jeffries tubes easier, because there's no Jeffries tubes now. We just need to go to the sensor or to the mazer ports, and that's all we have to worry about. And the sensor, the after sensor arrays, and these left forward pitons. Port forward pitons. Okay, I'm going to go away now, and that's what I'm going to go do. I'm going to go actually call my solar panel people and say, do my solar panels work? Does anybody know? Does anybody know? Do you know? Do I know? Does anybody know? What's going on? So, I gotta go do that. I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll have people here. If not, we'll keep working. It's not like this is done. But at least now we kind of see what... It's kind of interesting that the internal guts of this thing looks a little bit more gutsy. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow, my friend. And thank you for joining me. And I noticed that somebody else has joined me too. And thank you for joining me. And I will see you all tomorrow. Until then, keep your eyes on the stars. Goodbye. computer. Good night.